welcome. Internet, you ever heard the structures of the eye? A very important part, be at least we need to know, okay, so that this can guide us. Very simple and very basic. Into a right eyeball, you see our lens you are doing, and this is lens. And not just any lens, but it's a crystalline lens, okay? So this thing I'm seeing here is called the crystalline lens. Crystalline, like kind of protein. Crystalline lens, okay? Now my crystalline lens now is a be so this structure, okay? Answer the same thing. Now this they are called suspensory ligaments. Here I'm from suspensory ligament, and also be a zonules. The same thing, and zonular fibers, the same thing. They call suspensory ligaments and zonules or zonular fibers, the same thing. So now I'm back at the moon. So me this structure has seen. This is called iris. This is called the iris. The iris this is why I'll be having the pupil. Into when my friend the iris. This very structure. Okay, one the same iris. This is called the iris. Okay. Regularly the amount of light that you pass to the eye. What you say? Good. Now me share any more. So say there's something bulging out here. Very clear, very transparent. The crystal lens is transparent. This medium is transparent. So the income light can pass through and go to the eye retina and hit directly. They are all transparent media, and they contribute to the refractive power of the eye. And this is called the cornea. This is called the cornea. So now when I have this thing here, you understand? This thing here, they are muscles, but not just any muscles. They are ciliary muscles. So this thing here, I'll label this as ciliary muscle. Ciliary muscle. Are you good? And now I want to say more the outermost layer. I want to say 3 layers. The outermost layer, we need the white ball. This is called the sclera. Now the second medium, I want to say between this one and this one, a middle one. So and they're made up of blood vessels. And one is choroid. Now you call the internal layer now a neurosensory layer, retina. That is called the retina. To this third one too is called the retina. Now on some about retina, I say at some point ekoshim kakra na same piaba. Now this depression part is called the let me say the fovea, or I can say the macula, because the macula, depression of the macula is called the fovea. So depression of the macula is called the fovea. Now I have this structure here going to the brain. There are nerves going to the brain. So I call. Alright, so that is the optic nerve. Now in back so I have this thing here. They are the conjunctiva. Now the conjunctiva, your the palpebral conjunctiva, and the bulbar. Eyeball no, another eyelid no. There's a lining. Eyeball, there's a lining on it, and that lining is called the bulbar conjunctiva. And then the eyelid, where the eyeball itself, and we near eyelid. Into eyelid no, so no, adibia lining, right? And that is called the palpebral conjunctiva. So I have this here thing here. So that will go to the eyelid or in the eyeball. So the center of the iris, the center of this iris is what I call the pupil. Okay, so I have my pupil here. Now I say in so big I say ichthys. In so I define the ichthys humor. So here I have my ichthys humor. And I just say so there's this jelly-like fluid here, or also fair, or also the vitreous humor. In terms of humor for no A2, aqueous humor or no between the cornea and the crystalline lens. And now the vitreous humor at the back of the lens, from the lens to the retina. I have my vitreous humor. Are you okay? So now we know of the cornea, this one cornea, the very clear. We know of crystalline lens, we know of some special ligaments, we know of the iris, we know of the ciliary body, okay, the ciliary body, we know of the outermost structure, the white parts of the eye called the sclera, and the middle part of the eye called the choroid, and the innermost layer lining inside, that is called what? The retina. And I mean what this kind of fibers leaving the eye going to the brain, this is called the optic nerve, and this one transmits optical and light into what? Electrical impulses to the brain for interpretation. So and the macula and the retina, and at some point there's depression, and that is called the macula. The center of the macula is called the fovea. So now let's look at what we call the uvea tract. If you are asked what is the uvea tract, it is made up of three components. 1, 2, 3. That is called the uvea tract or the uvea. The first one is called the iris plus ciliary muscle, or let me say body, ciliary body, plus the choroid. This is called the uvea tract. In the iris plus the ciliary body, okay, plus the ciliary body, right, ciliary body, and then plus the choroid, this one. Into choroid, no, plus the ciliary body. If I say ciliary body, into anywhere in the ciliary body, so that you understand the concept of ciliary body. Plus the ciliary body, okay, plus the iris, that is called the uvea tract. Now let's look at anterior segment. Anterior segment, and let's look at posterior segment. Now for anterior segment is between the cornea and the anterior surface of the crystalline lens. So this whole part is called the anterior segment. Because anterior segment between the cornea to the front part of what? Of the lens. So that is called the anterior segment. So anterior segment is between the cornea and the anterior surface of the crystalline lens. This is called the anterior segment. Because the posterior segment from the back of the eye to the retina, this whole part is called the posterior. This whole part is called the posterior segment. And see, at the posterior segment, I'll be having my vitreous humor, and yes, sir. And at the anterior segment, I'll be having my aqueous humor. Now the point is that at the anterior segment, they have two divisions. We have anterior chamber. We have anterior segment. There were two divisions called anterior chamber and the posterior chamber. Posterior chamber and the anterior and the posterior segment. Because the posterior segment they are here from the back of the lens to the retina, and they are back up divisions. But for the anterior segment, there were two divisions. There were anterior chamber and the posterior chamber. Now, what is anterior chamber? Anterior chamber. Now we know say for anterior segment, the A between cornea to the front surface of what? Of the lens. Into from to an anterior segment. Now you will anterior chamber. Anterior chamber from the cornea to the iris. This part. And a anterior chamber and a posterior chamber from the iris to the lens. In some anterior chamber, anterior chamber between the cornea to the iris. But posterior chamber the iris to the lens. You mean the anterior segment. In the anterior chamber between the cornea and the iris, and the anterior chamber, and a posterior chamber between the iris and the lens. That's the posterior chamber. Me can now boom dia any moment anterior segment, and behind the lens to the retina, so posterior segment. Thank you.